What is up, my people? And the absolute biggest welcome back to Bay City Diecast Racing in the new Bay City Speedway. And the finals of the National Super Truck Series, brought to you by Merch by Meekin. My name is Daryl, and I'll be your host. A quick reminder, this is the fourth and final stop of this series, and your champion will be crowned at Bay City. Let's thank our track sponsors, Rust Belt Customs, and 95% of the track these trucks will run on today, designed and printed by Spoolheads. Find them on Facebook or at spoolheads.com. Let's check out our current point standings to get you up to date. Y'all came here to see a new track and some racing, so let's get right to the introductions. First up in Group 1, starting on the inside front row, driving the number 22 1963 Studebaker. For Blue Line Racing, it's KC. Outside front row, in the number 55 Draftnator, driving for Numbskull Racing, this is Numbskull. Inside back row, also in a 63 Studebaker, driving for Rabid Badger Racing, number 39, it's Deacon. And finally, outside back row, also in the 1963 Studebaker, in his patented number 13, driving for Dubious Diecast, this is Mr. Dark. Here we go, folks. Up top, beautiful new Bay City Speedway. KC on the pole next to Numbskull, Deacon and Mr. Dark in the rear. Gate drops, we're racing at Bay City, folks. Through the vineyards, KC sneaks out front and leads us down the Golden State Bridge. Numbskull on the outside, up Coit Hill, back down through the S's and on to the Bay City Bridge. KC's loose, Numbskull into the back in front of the ladies and headed downtown. KC across the Bixby Bridge and down the home stretch. KC across with the win, followed by Numbskull. Dark in for third. And there's Deacon in fourth. KC with a track time of 9.88, a new track record with an asterisk. Let's check out the replay. One of the many nuances of this track is the uphill portions, which some castings may struggle with. But we see KC and Numbskull with no issues across the Bay City Bridge, down past the completely painted ladies. Special thanks to my sister for finishing those off, as well as the other beautifully colored houses around the track. KC with the lap victory gets 5 points, Numbskull 3 points for second, and on down. Back up top lap 2, we'll rotate him one spot clockwise, putting Numbskull on the pole next to Mr. Dark. KC slides back a spot next to Deacon. Numbskull and KC on that inside lane lead us to the crossover and down the bridge. Dark hanging tight on the whoop-de-doos and up around Coit Tower. Numbskull with a 4-car lead, and it's growing towards the ladies and around the palace. Look at him weave through those S's. Down the stretch into the final turn, and it's gonna be Numbskull hanging on for the victory with an air quote new track record of 9.75. KC across for second. There's Deacon limping his way across the line. And no sign of Mr. Dark. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Dark on the replay. This time Numbskull leads the inside row around. These back-to-back crossovers are designed to eliminate any inside lane advantage. First look at our overhead view here as we can see Deacon and just how far you can fall behind on this track if you struggle with these hills. And oh, Mr. Dark, into the painted ladies and into the drink. We are absolutely gonna have to take another look at that. That part of the track could be an issue. Oh, into the stairs and into the pond of the palace. Dark, you can't park there, sir. Here we go, foundation lap 3. This front row has some work to do as Dark resurrects himself into the pole position, joined by Deacon. Dark will lead us early through the winery and down the Golden State Bridge. Numbskull on him like a shadow up the hill. Deacon and KC lagging behind. Dark no issues this time with the downslope through the S's, and Dark is flying. And Mr. Dark will take lap 3. Numbskull goes around but crosses Deacon right behind him, and KC with a rare 4th place finish. Dark across with another new track record of 9.35 with 5 much needed points here. As we take a look at the replay, Dark led this one green to checkered, and I bet he's glad to see that. KC held up a bit by Deacon, and we'll see if that's a factor in the final scoring as all 4 cars whip around the palace and into downtown. Final lap 4. Numbskull with a 2-point lead over KC will start this one behind him. Deacon and Dark on the inside. Let's go. Deacon first out of the 90, and KC says, I'll take that. Onto the bridge, and here comes Numbskull. Up the whoops around Coit Hill. KC extending the lead. And he's sideways. Numbskull gets into him. Deacon into third. Dark goes over across the Bixby Bridge. And KC's around again, and into him, Numbskull into him, and they're all gonna come to a stop right about there. Dang. We see Mr. Dark on his lid for the second time today on the Palace 180. Let's take another quick look at this cluster. KC sideways in front of the ladies, and boom, Numbskull sets them straight, and that allowed Deacon to take advantage as Dark goes belly up. But all for naught, we'll get them all back up top and run them again. Deacon and Dark on the inside, KC and the Numbskull band on the outside. KC first on and over the bridge. Numbskull looking a little slow this lap, but there's a battle for second, and I couldn't tell who won it as KC already across the bridge, and here comes Numbskull. Down across the S's, it's a three-way battle for second. Down into the final 180, KC across, and Numbskull edges out a charging Deacon and Mr. Dark for second place. What a final race we had right there, folks. Let's check out the replay, and you'd expect Numbskull to at least get about a car length from KC early, but a late jump gave KC a huge lead over the field. And we see Numbskull just squawk out Deacon at the end of the dual lane. KC on cruise control got a little loose in front of the ladies, if you know what I mean. Numbskull comes flying up, and we got action. KC wanted no part of it as we settled for the battle for second, which didn't disappoint. Let's take a look at our scores, and spoiler alert, KC and Numbskull take the group tied, actually, with 14 points. Deacon and Dark with 7 and 9 points, respectively.
59.
I said 7 and 9. And we'll add those scores to the big board, and we'll see where we're at later in the race. Before we get to race 2, I want you guys to check out the brand new Bay City Performance Shop provided by Merch by Meekin in conjunction with Wetwork Customs. I know, right? Merch by Meekin has now brought us a brand new line of custom buildings for your track at home. The dealership, the garage, and the filler-up station with working roll-up doors would each, or all, make an awesome contribution to any 1/64 scale diorama. Check them out at Merch by Meekin. Here we go for Group 2 of the National Super Truck Series at Bay City Speedway. In case you're just joining us, that seems kind of odd you'd start in the middle of the video, just saying. Now let's meet our drivers. Starting on the pole position, in the number 4 Draftinator, your National Super Truck Series points leader coming into tonight, driving for G4 Diecast Racing, it's Daddy G. Outside front row, also your National Super Truck Series points leader coming into tonight, driving in the number 81 Draftinator, for Flips Racing, it's Flip. From parts unknown, driving the number 18 1963 Studebaker, for MQH Racing, it's Big Stank. And finally, using unknown parts, the familiar face of Arlo Racing in the number 69 Draftinator.
69.
This is Arlo. Once again, let's head back up to the wine country atop beautiful Bay City Speedway. Daddy G on the pole next to Flip, Big Stank, and Arlo in the rear. Around the Gold 90 and into the vineyards, Daddy G with a small lead over Flip into the Golden State Bridge, and they're flying through the crossovers and up the Coy Tower. Daddy G strung like bull, but the pack isn't far behind. Here comes Flip, right on the tail of Daddy G. Across the Bixby, down the backstretch, and here they come. And Daddy G will hold off Flip and a hard charge in Arlo to take the lap 1 win with a time of 9.78. And is that everybody? Uh-oh, something stinks. But first, let's check out this replay. This uphill section is not for the faint of heart, folks. This is not a beginner trek by any means, and these guys are making it look easy. Let's see what happens to Big Stank, and ooh, did he catch a piece of the painted lady too? Those houses are off the track. And what a battle to the finish line, as either of these two could win this whole series. Back up top, lap 2. Flip slides over and welcomes Arlo to the front. Daddy G drops back a spot next to Big Stank. And we're racing. Flip edging out to a small lead to the bridge. Arlo and Daddy G nose to nose with the crossover and up the hill. Daddy G into second and he's gaining. Across the Bay City Bridge towards the Daddy G goes around. Flip couldn't care less and he is gone. Into the John Aubrey National Park and he spins short of the line. And here comes Daddy G. Oh, there's a pileup at the line. Did Daddy G steal a win here somehow? Well, whoever won that comes across with a time of 10.88. In the early battle of the Mario Kart wheels, aka second place, Daddy G wasted little time dispatching of Arlo, giving Flip some heat. But then the bottom literally comes out from under him as he turns it around, allowing Flip a smooth ride all the way almost to the finish line. Where, let's see if we can find out. Oh man, I still can't tell. Oh yeah, that's Flip for sure. That 5 points ties us up at 8 and on to the foundation lap 3. Arlo takes his turn on the pole next to a big Stank, Flip and Daddy G in the back, and they have some traffic. Arlo and Stank bust out of the gate and they're nose to nose into the overpass and across the bridge. The inside lane will take the lead coming out of Coy Hill. Flip giving Arlo all he can handle and they touch. Arlo falling through the S's and he is gonna hold on to take lap 3. Flip in for second, Daddy G will take third. And again, no sign of Big Stank as Arlo snatches up 5 points with a time of 10.14. Check out this replay, jam-packed all the way to the top of the hill, and then it was go time. Arlo taking off like he stole Flip's chain, Flip chasing after him because his mama gave him that chain. However you want to look at it, it made for good racing. Let's zoom in if we can see what happened to Big Stank. Ooh! And oh, gets up on the rail, gets a little loose, and Daddy G helps Big Stank make a big mess down here by the palace. Come on, fellas, I just got the place. Keep your feet off the coffee table. Final lap 4, Flip clinging to a 1-point advantage with Daddy G right in front of him. The winner of this race could win this whole damn thing. One last time through the vineyard and on to the Bay City Bridge. Daddy G showing off his speed. Flip on the outside around Stank for second, and here we go. Daddy G across the bridge and down to the ladies. Flip gives chase. Both clean through downtown and into the home stretch. Daddy G across first. Flip in for second. Arlo another close third. And Big Stank will close us out. Daddy G with a winning time of 10.17, but those 5 points will feel a lot better than a track record, that's for sure. Daddy G led us gate to checker, but it wasn't easy. And never is with these two are on the track. Flip never really challenged, but was never really out of it either. All right, let's check our scoreboard. And by 1 point, Daddy G will pull ahead of Flip in the series points standings going into the final 2 groups. Thank you to all 4 of these drivers as their massive road trip has come to an end. But we could see 1 or 2 of them on the podium as we check out our complete updated standings.
As crazy as it sounds, every remaining driver still has a shot at the podium.
Only one way to find out. Tune in next time for groups 3 and 4, and a champion of the National Super Truck Series will be crowned. Thanks again to our sponsors, Merch by Meekin, Rust Belt Customs, and Spoolheads Racing. This has been a presentation of Bay City Diecast Racing. My name is Daryl, and I've been your host. Have a good night, everybody.